Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charnley. This is another historic church in Cumbria. This is St Bega's Mission Church, Eskdale Green. And it's a good example of the sort of building that was constructed where villages had grown up quite outside or apart from the existing parish churches. Many of the parishes in these rural areas are very spread out. They're very large, and even the areas served by individual chapels, medieval chapels, were quite big. And as industry developed, it developed along the rivers, because of course before there was steam power, there was water power, and when there was steam power you still needed water for your steam. But the streams gushing down from the fells had quite a lot of power behind them to drive a water wheel, and so people came to live in these valleys. And by the 19th century there was a concern about the spiritual welfare of these people, and so churches like this were built. Now this is an interesting building. The church is up here, upstairs, and downstairs there's the old school, now the village hall. The reason, of course, being a single building, and it's on a hillside, so you can come in on the ground floor of the church, upstairs here, and then go round the back and you can come in on the ground floor again of the school underneath. So economy. You don't have to have a big plot, you just have to have a plot where you can go over and under. So we'll have a look around again. This is a late 19th century building, one of many, but one of the best examples, particularly given the over and under approach that it takes. So let's have a look around. As usual, then we start at the back. We have here quite an interesting font. It is triangular, and it is decorated with, you see, this is what they call the tricata. It's a Celtic Trinity symbol. You'll find it, it's a logo on the New King James Bible. Some people pretend it's pagan, they're just being silly. The reason for this, of course, St Bega was an Irish princess, at least that's the legend. And so Irish references in the building take us to the woman to whom it is dedicated. So we progress up here, very simple pulpit. Now that does look like it was originally would have been higher up, but it's been taken down and put on the carpeted platform here. No stained glass windows. Stained glass windows in a building this date would typically be a later gift. What that means is you get this fantastic view of the fells out of the window here. Absolutely amazing, and much more than any stained glass could hope to achieve. So that is the stained glass, that is the non-stained glass. And there we have the hall-like nave. We have got benches, that's what they'd have called them. We think of them as pews, but the Victorians would call those benches. You will notice we don't have communion rails, we have what they call houseling benches. They're benches at which you kneel for communion. And these are very simple examples that are quite attractive and very much suited to this style of very simple hall-like building, sort of building that could be used both as a village hall and as a parish church. You could just move the seating to the sides. But of course now it's village hall is the old school down below. So that then is the interior. It's an incredibly simple building. There is a nice local history display here, which is also well worth looking at. There's a bit here in front of us to do with the Romans. The Romans came here, and then the stone circles from the people who were here even before the Romans. Just say a brief bit here. The church here is just by the road, so this is the west end. So we'll go further down before having a look round. But I just so you can see here the name on the front. So I'm outside by the porch. There's a car about to come past, so van room. it's right in the middle of the village. There's no graveyard, of course. The burials would have been at the main church up at St Catherine's at the top of the dale, basically in Boot. Like one of these places named for the local inn. So we'll have a brief look at the outside. You can really just see the one side here, but enough to get some idea of how the building works. So here we go. So here we are. I'm actually on the steps now that lead down to the old school below what's now the hall. So I get a slightly better view of the church, but obviously I'm on the steps. Can't stand here. So down we go. Steps, of course, because the old school, and you can see down here you've got here's the schoolroom below and the church above. It's a very clever way of using the site. Those, of course, would be the loos, because you've got a school here. Yes, you could allow the church services. They don't need to have loos necessarily, but the school jolly well does. And here we have the underside of the chancel, a couple of classrooms, and that's all you need, really, isn't it, if you're doing a school. And around the back, as I say, it's now the village hall. There's a purpose-built school elsewhere in the village. Much more convenient purpose-built school than here, but obviously the yard's important because that's where you'd have the exercise. That's the playground. So that's the other side. The sides are both very similar. The bell, I suspect, would have been used both by the church and the school, because both need bells, and duplication of bells on the same building is unnecessary. So that is St Bega's. You can see there you've got this bit underneath the entrance, and the porch up there. So St Bega's Mission Church, Eskdale Green. So there we have it. It is perhaps one of the more overlooked churches in the Lake District, but it's one that's important to look at because it's about the provision made for the ordinary folk who lived and worked here, and about the demographic change that took place in the 19th century with the villages, and it wasn't just anymore about farming, there was an industrial element as well. So thank you for watching, and may God bless you and keep you until next time.